everyone, and welcome to Walford Weekly, your EastEnders podcast, where we'll be discussing the stories that were broadcast on the BBC in the UK on the dates between Monday the 8th and Friday the 12th of March. And he's back. Better than ever. It's Rob.
Yes. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hello, how are you, Alex?
Very well, thank you.
Yeah, so I've got I had a very exciting week, exciting day yesterday. I had a new window put in to my bedroom, and me and Alex were playing a little game where he was challenging me to ask the builder questions over Messenger. We got into a conversation about it, didn't we? And then he was like, "Well, how old is this builder?" I was like, "I'll ask." And so I did.
I know, completely out of the field, and I was like, "Don't ask him his age."
I was like, "How old are you, mate, by the way?" And he looked at me slightly mystified and went, 59, like looking at me like, "Why is this gay asking me how old I am?" And then so 59, and then and then that game sort of continued where Alex was like, ask him this. So I did. I learned loads about him. He got really excited about glass, I discovered. You know those people that are really passionate about their job? He gave me like a 10-minute lecture about the glass that he was putting in. It was the most boring thing I've ever heard in my life, but he seemed fascinated. So, you know, you shouldn't knock other people's fascinations, I always find.
Oh, no, each to their own. I mean, was he one of those guys then that, like, when his boss went up to him and said, "Do you fancy a trip down to the glass factory next week?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Yes, please.
Oh,
I need to know about PVC,
buzzing.
double layered, triple
buzzing."
Yeah. I mean, this all started because the revelation that he didn't like hot drinks. And that basically...
Yes, that was it.
I mean, who doesn't like a hot drink?
I mean, honestly, I'm a liberal guy, Alex. You know this.
We do.
You know, we're both very liberal boys, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't like hot drinks, I want to know, like, how do you function first thing in the morning? I'm not, like, tangible for any sort of dialogue with anybody until I've had at least two cups of tea. Sometimes I need the blood of a newborn child to wake me up in the morning.
You have a tease made next to your bed. It's bubbling. Wake up.
Yeah.
7 o'clock.
Absolutely.
It percolates. You had the beautiful patter of the rain against your new window.
I did. It was lovely. Apparently I had a single pane of glass in my window. I didn't know this. It's about 180 years old, my window. So I've got a new modern day window that everybody else has got now. It's lovely.
I'm shocked that you've never had it smashed until before today. It
didn't look well by the time he took it out, I tell you now. I think there was like rotting beams on it and all sorts. It wasn't great.
What will he do with that glass now he's taken it away? I'm curious. You should. I mean, if only he was still there, we could have asked.
Well, he was really... I know. He seemed really kind of excited and said that it's the first time I've taken out like a single pane of glass. So I've got a feeling he's going to take it home and sort of mount it on his wall or something.
Some kind of weird, like, what is it, Silence of the Lambs, when he has, like, people in the pit.
Trophies.
Yeah, and he kind of puts the skin, he puts, like, glass window frames over his body.
It's just got, like, layers of glass just layered around this pit. He'll throw, like, wind and, like, bird poo out or something just to keep it fed.
This week on EastEnders, we have had quite the journey.
Week.
Yes.
Quite the week.
Let's say that much. I mean, let's start with Stacey's story, shall we? Where she has been charged with the crime of pushing Ruby down the stairs on the basis of one CCTV footage. because, well, can I start with that, please? Because that just seems so flimsy. This whole, it's on my laptop. I only had one camera on. The other one's broken, even though it had just been fixed. It just, you know what I mean? I know the detective wasn't there during the conversation when Martin dropped the bombshell to Ruby that they had their CCTV footage system fixed recently. But do you not think it just seemed a little bit thin? Well,
my problem with it, more than anything else, was how great the sound quality was on the recording.
Well, yeah,
Ruby, leave it! But I want to know, why would you have sound on a camera of a nightclub? Like, you can't hear, you won't be able to hear, for the purpose that camera is designed for, to watch people whilst they are clubbing, you won't be able to hear a thing that anybody's saying, because you'll just have the music blaring and, like, messing with the sound. So why? It had perfect sound, it was a perfect HD camera.
It was very good quality camera. I mean, I don't know if CCTV footage, you could get the best that has ever been made, and it still kind of chips and chops and changes. It was like a BBC camera was there, filming from a different angle, wasn't it?
Wasn't it just? And it made them sound different when they said their lines and everything. No. Basically what happens is Ruby goes and is like, realises that the police want to see the CCTV camera, and she's like, oh God, I know full well that this isn't going to look great. So she looks on the computer from one angle. The one angle shows that she just fell and that Stacey didn't push her or anything like that. So she's like, well, that won't do. So deletes it.
Delete.
And then And then this police lady comes in. It's not anybody. Have we seen this police lady before? I think we have.
We have. She has been doing a bit of investigation. I don't think she does any of the hardcore stuff, any Mitchell, Panasar stuff. She keeps to the small little crimes of Walford, like pushing someone down the stairs.
She's never even met D.I. Gaffney.
No. I mean, D.I. Gaffney is just but a memory to us now.
No. A fine memory, but still a memory. Tell you what, though, she's got excellent eyebrows. I was absolutely loving when she was interviewing Stacey and she was just giving her an eyebrow. It's like, really.
I also enjoy her trust and just openness to Ruby when she was like, she looked at the footage and she's like, right, well,
that'll do.
That's enough.
That'll do.
Yeah.
That's a promotion.
Crime solved. Off we go.
Yeah. I'm a genius at this. Best police copper EastEnders has ever seen. So this copper turns up and goes, I'd like to look at your laptop, please. Ruby, having deleted the non-Stacey pushing footage, thinks that that's it. So I think what happened here? Did she forget that the other camera existed, or did she just not have time to delete the other one?
Well, no, she said, didn't she? She said that the cameras were broken. She said that all the cameras...
Yeah, she seemed surprised.
She was surprised when Martin said, oh no, they've been fixed. So
Yeah, but she seemed surprised when the copper found the other piece of footage, like the other angle of Stacey.
Well, I mean,
so that's what I was confused about.
She only had time to watch the first angle and delete it.
Okay.
And then the copper came in, or the detective. We're downgrading her here. The detective eyebrows.
Detective.
She better eye work than Sharon, some might say. She
DI on Fleek.
DI on Fleek walked into the office and she just went straight to the computer and was like, right, now I'll have a look at this then. Click, click, click,
That'll
click.
do.
Yeah, that'll do. Surely, I don't know. It just seemed like too obvious that there was been other footage. Why did she not question, where's the other footage? Or why?
Well, do you know what it looked like? It looked like this is the thing. The evidence that she's got, it looked like a soap was being filmed. That's the problem. If we were watching it as a viewer, we would probably believe that Stacey pushed her because we would believe that was what that angle was supposed to portray. Do you know what I mean? It didn't actually show any contact, but we would understand it as Stacey pushed her. Basically, she was just like, well, this is a great episode of EastEnders. I'm going to take this into HQ, and we'll charge Stacey with this. What has she actually been charged with, though? So it's assault, is it?
She's been charged for the attack of Ruby Allen. So, yeah, assault, I suppose. Stacey has a history with the police, so I suppose this isn't her first crime. So is jail time on the books here?
Wow.
I mean,
looks like it, doesn't it?
Lacey is leaving for maternity soon.
Again.
So let's think two possibilities.
She's not Lacey Turner, please. I'm delighted that you've got two kids. Please don't have any more because they keep giving you these insane exit stories.
Well, again, and they're always Martin related, aren't they? They're always where there's a kind of tension between her and Martin. Why can't she just go off and see Sean? Go and have a visit Sean for a bit.
That's
see
boring,
how he's
isn't
going. Well, yeah, but it's going to be one of two things. It has to be jail time.
Or she's going to go on the run again.
On the run, yeah, or go on the run, and
why not?
So. Obviously, this madness began because of a really wonderful moment at the beginning of the week. I actually thought was great, where Ruby was mourning over her loss, and Martin had made that beautiful memorial in the new allotment set.
The allotment, yes. We haven't seen the allotment since Series 2 started, I don't think, have we? It seems like ages since we've seen the allotment.
But they normally had, whenever they go to the allotment, they normally just have one hard cam, and that's it. And all you see is the shed, a bench, and a few plants kind of growing, where, Mr. Murray used to grow his plants with the ashes of his wife. But now they had a proper shed in the background. I think they had a tractor. You could hear motorway traveling in the back. It really felt like, do you not think? It really felt like you were in an allotment.
They had a combine harvester going past in the background, ploughing the field.
They had scrumpy being made in barrels at the back. It was fantastic. It was wonderful. I loved the new allotment set. I loved the memorial that he made. And it was just a lovely conversation between Ruby and Martin, and Ruby said that she'd already thought of a name, Lulu, named after his grandmother, Lou Bill, which
she never met, and died when Martin was 3.
I know, I get that, but I liked that throwback. I forgave them for the fact that neither of them probably would have even realised.
Neither would have given 2 seconds thought to this woman.
But I liked that, and I thought that was a nice moment between them, and then it got tarnished by the end of the week, where we then had this outrageous accusation by Ruby, and she did everything in her power to try to get Stacey into trouble. And at one point, I really thought that Ruby was going to kind of push Stacey to maybe do it again, just to kind of solidify, do something.
Maybe that's where she was trying to. Yeah, maybe that's what she was trying to do. Considering that Louisa Lytton apparently really doesn't like this story, she's doing it very well, I think.
I mean, she's a paid actress, and she's a jobbing actress. She needs to.
But she's doing really well. She's doing really well with it. I think she's making it as convincing as it can be.
It would have been a lovely story if there wasn't this, this silly subplot that's been attached to it with Stacey. I mean, you could have done maybe a kind of accusation to Stacey that she felt lost because of what Stacey had perhaps done. But I think to then attach a crime to it, it's just a very weak and almost lazy way to then give Lacey Turner her time off again for her pregnancy.
It's but the thing is though, we don't know how long Lacey Turner's having off this time. I don't think she's having as long off as she did last time. I suppose she can't unless another pandemic happens. But she's not going to have as long as she did have last time. She'll have like a few months off. She has given birth to Trilby. She's all over the front covers of the magazines, and the whole family looks gorgeous.
Oh, congratulations, Lacey!
Yeah, my mum took one look at the front cover of OK magazine or something. It's like, why is she named a kid after a hat? It was like, I don't know, mother. I don't know.
Can we take a quick moment to talk about Jean? Because she got very upset this week as well over this whole affair. And did you not notice that she seems to be having interaction? I think I may have said this last week. She seems to be having a lot of interaction with cast members. Like they're almost building up to this one big moment that perhaps Jean is going to die on screen. I mean, they've not confirmed this cancer story with her.
No.
There was that moment where she was on the hospital bed and she was crying. Nothing's been confirmed, but it seems like it's and she did that moment where she recorded the video as well.
Yeah, that's not been brought up since.
That's not been brought up since. That Jean seems to think that she has cancer. Has she not had it confirmed by a doctor then? It's just something she's presuming. Not. Okay. So it's just something she's presuming. So where are they going to pick up with that story, do you think, in the future?
God knows, because presumably the reason that she's so upset about the idea of Stacey going back to prison is because in Jean's mind she could die while Stacey is in prison. Jean doesn't seem to know how to approach the idea of telling anybody that the cancer's back in her mind. We don't know that the cancer's back. In fact, I don't even think that the cancer's back. I think she's just got it into her head that it is. And she ran away from the doctor, sort of made this video. And she's been going around to basically all of the square, acting like the wisest old sage that Walford's ever seen, like going, "You've got so long to live. Why did you grab life by the hands?" And all this sort of thing. Which is great. I understand that mindset, and I understand that mindset from Jean. Yeah, I am kind of getting to a point now, it's like, are we going to address this again? Like, are we either going to have a confirmation, or... She's never going to go back to the doctor, and she's never going to tell anybody. So, is she just immediately going to think, I should have died by now, surely? Do you know what I mean? Like, why?
Well, no, I know, that's what I mean. It seems they seem to be going nowhere with it. But they built up so much to that point. And then they've just kind of switched it off. And I get that, there's obviously other stories around happening, but it seems to be the only story where it seems to be referenced every now and then, but the audience aren't even sure of why. Does that make sense? Like, we don't really know what is Jean's story here. Does Jean have cancer, or is it just that Jean thinks she has cancer? And
well, she found a lump on Christmas Day, didn't she?
Yeah, but she's not had that confirmed, or has she had that confirmed off screen and we just don't know about it?
No, I get what you mean completely. I just think that I can't see how they would, like, what we saw was not Jean finding out that she had cancer.
No,
that's not what we saw, and that seems like the sort of thing we should see. We can't just assume that she has it or assume that she doesn't have it. Like, we sort of need to know. Or rather, I think Jean needs to go to the doctors, because presumably if she has got it, she knows that, she needs to have some sort of pain medication or something to sort of, make herself, if she believes that she's going to die, then surely she'd want something to make her feel a bit more comfortable throughout the entire process, rather than just letting it take its course.
That's another thing, isn't it? Surely if she has cancer and she's not doing anything to ease the pain, then would she not... I don't know. She's showing a lot of fatigue. That's one thing I've spotted. She seems to be a lot more tired, a little bit more dreamy, like, kind of. But then that might be associated by the way that she feels like she's kind of some kind of, as you say, sage. She's kind of walks around the square offering advice to people.
That's what I was kind of thinking. That she's just sort of she's thinking of herself as someone who's not got long to live, and she's looking at all of these lives that are eventually being wasted around Walford, and so likes to sort of like give them little nugget gems of information and wisdom from the the book of Jean Slater, which again I like that aspect of it. I think that works with Jean. We need to know what the next stage of this is now, because it can't keep going on where we don't know and Jean doesn't know. And then all of a sudden she goes, oh, I guess I didn't have it then. Well, that doesn't work. So surely if Stacey's going to prison, this is going to have to be revealed quite soon at some point, surely.
Maybe it'll be...
Because that's why Jean is so devastated about the idea of her going back to prison.
Yeah. Maybe it'll be at the moment where she is convicted and Jean screams, no, I've got cancer! And maybe. God. Hey, you know what it is time for? Everyone's favourite story. It's the Lucas story.
Love it. So you like this story, really, then?
No, I hate this story. Because it's just every week, and we said this last week, every week it gets madder, and every week we normally end this section with, oh well, it is what it is. And I think that argument is beginning to wear thin a little bit, because it just...
I could do this for at least another couple of weeks. It is what it is. We love a catchphrase.
They're stretching it for everything it's worth now, aren't they? They really are stretching it for all it's worth. I mean, what more is there to talk about, really? It's just the same as what's happened in previous weeks.
It seems that this... right, I mean, for a start... I'd seen that Karen and Lucas were going to go on this date, which automatically put my back up, because I was like, how would Karen not know who this bloke is? Like, Karen works in the laundrette, which is like the gossip mill of EastEnders. Like, how would she not have known what happened to Denise? That's the sort of thing that the thing that happened to Denise, where she was presumed dead and was being held 2 houses down. You're not telling me that anybody that's ever moved into Walford doesn't hear that story at some point, over a pint or over over a pair of dirty undies or something like that.
Of course they must have. They must have known about this serial killer called Lucas, who was once married to Denise. It was common knowledge.
Who kidnapped her.
Yeah, who kidnapped her and made everyone think she was dead. I mean, you would move... The day you'd move into the square, someone would come up to you and say, hey, have you heard about this guy called Lucas? If
anything, that would affect the house price.
That's why they're so low in Albert Square.
Yeah.
The rest of London rocketing, but in Albert Square... Because there's been so much
10p a house, it's great. So the reasoning that we were given for this is because Lucas wants to feel normal. I love Karen to bits, I do. I don't believe that Karen is Lucas's type, put it like that. And she's probably the least religious person that he's ever met in his life. Yeah. Karen does not look like somebody who dons a cassock on a Sunday and sinks down to her knees and prays to the Lord. That's not our Karen, I'm afraid. It does not. Karen is clearly very into Lucas, notices the size of his feet. Which, and then they agree to go on this date. Now, like I say, the motive for Lucas is that he just wants to feel normal, to the point where he gives Karen the name Jordan for himself.
Yes, well, that's not the first time. The only time this week he uses Jordan's name in vain. The child that he loved and misses and wish hadn't overdosed, and then uses it in a tarnished, horrible, nasty way to try to deceive people. Yeah, what a horrible way of using your dead son's name.
But then this is a really weird thing where nobody seems to believe that Karen has gone out with this really fit bloke, which she keeps describing. She's like, so fine, I'll take a picture. So she does. She takes a picture of Lucas when he's busy reading a menu. And sends it to Mitch. And Mitch happens to be in the salon with Denise at the time. And they start talking about this date that Karen's gone on. And he's like, well, does this look old man to you? And Denise is horrified and immediately tells Mitch who he is. So Mitch rushes to Ruby's, where this date is taking place, and tells Karen who this bloke is. And then there was quite a nice scene, I thought, where Karen sort of, the grief that she had still with Chantel sort of bubbled, remember Chantel, Alex?
I do vaguely. Something happened to her, I don't know, some abusive story, I don't know.
She had nice hair, I remember that.
Yeah, she did.
So all this grief bubbles to the surface, and Lucas is told that he's not allowed to be normal because he's taken people's children away from Karen, which I thought was a good point from someone like Karen. I quite liked that. And then Karen storms out, and Lucas is sort of left going, my life's never going to be normal. It's like, well, no, of course it isn't.
No. Maybe Lucas may have felt a bit differently if literally the moment he got let out of prison, all of this hadn't hit him all at the same time. His daughter has deceived him, Denise doesn't want anything to do with him, but they have to work together in order to save the daughter. A lot has happened to him in a very short space of time. So from that perspective, I kind of get why Lucas wants to feel, inverted commas, more normal. Yeah. So I got that part of the story. But as you say, it was just done in such a strange way. It's feel normal by going to cafes and having a cup of tea with someone.
No, he does that. Yeah. He does that fairly often, to be fair.
Yeah, but it's always with his daughter, isn't he? He never does it with like anyone outside of his like social bubble, just to use a 2020 term. You know, it's so I think he just wanted someone new, someone he could talk to, someone. I mean, you're right. I don't think Karen was necessarily his type, but he saw her as someone who seemed quite open, would be easy to talk to, and could he could have an easy time for an hour or two over a drink at Ruby's bar. So I fine, I got that was understandable. And Karen's reaction was, as you say, good, really good for them. But then I don't think you can do anything wrong with Karen. Like with Karen's the actress and the character, she's just such an interesting character. And again, why they're not doing more with the Taylors without Mitch is beyond me. Because later this week, which we'll talk about, like there's some real nice moments with Bailey and Karen,
gorgeous moments with Karen
and
this week,
with Bernie as well. Great with Bernie.
Yay!
And, yes, thank God she's back. They had the smallest amount of time this week, but they seemed to me to be the biggest part of the show this week because I was invested and I was interested in what they were doing. And it wasn't.
If we did character of the week, Karen would get character of the week for me.
Oh,
she was great this week. But I agree. The Taylors aren't doing anywhere near enough at the moment, considering they're supposed to be like this massive family that's moved onto the square, sort of like this loud vocal family. All of the grief with Chantel has sort of happened off screen, which doesn't feel like it should have done. We sort of it's almost like we kind of keep popping into Karen to see how she's getting on with the grief rather than actually watching her journey where she's grieving her daughter. It's like we pop in for a tea every now and again, like an uncaring neighbour. All right, Karen, how you doing there? You all right?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it'll get better, love. All right, I'll see you later, love. I must get on. See you, bye.
The equivalent of like posting "Are you okay, hun?" on Facebook, that kind of
thing. DM me, hun, but please don't.
I'm interested, but not that interested, really.
Yeah, I don't really care. All of this comes out, and Chelsea and Denise storm around to the bit where Lucas is sulking. Basically, Denise is like, "That's my friend." Have I had how many scenes have Karen and Denise had together? They're
friendshipping people up, which is random again, isn't it? It's like Jean and Sharon's friendship. This seems to have just been plucked out of the air. It's like,
but at least we've seen Jean and Sharon on the screen together
only twice, where they stole chocolate.
But it worked. It worked. You cannot tell. Yes, I will argue with this to the point. Sharon and Jean were great together on screen. I absolutely loved it.
They got matching jumpers.
They did, and they were Thelma and Louise, and they were great shoplifters. And if you ignore the fact that Sharon was not a month ago trying to steal Jean's bipolar medication to poison her husband, then everything was great.
Nothing happened. None of that happened.
No, loved that. I want more Jean and Sharon. Basically, the week culminates in Lucas going to meet Kevin the General.
Yes, Kevin.
In his office. Yes, Kevin the General, which incidentally looks a little suspiciously like the Panasar office with a slight set change, I thought. But we'll move it, that's fine. But he goes to see Calib, Kevin the General, and says... It's basically attempting to sort of get in there and like be a security guard or something for him. Like he's applying for this job that's there.
Yeah, he wants to get involved within the circle, doesn't he? Just so that he can kind of get closer to Calib.
Had his number on his phone.
Yeah, and he can get closer to him.
Oh, is that Calib?
Yeah. Right, Kevin?
Hi, is that the drug dealer?
General.
Hi, Calib. Is that the drug dealer?
But Calib kind of winds Lucas up because he knows that it's Lucas from the beginning. And so Lucas, out of frustration, then lifts up a chair. I thought...
How does he know it's him from the beginning?
Well, because he knew through Chelsea, didn't he? I think he... Because it wasn't it Kevin... We must stick to a name here. Is it Luke... Kevin? Calib?
It's Calib. Calib.
Wasn't it Calib's goons, the ones that beat up Lucas when, right at the beginning, we all thought it was Phil's goons that had done it. So he must have known, like, for months and months and months who Lucas is. So, again, it was a bit of a silly plan by Lucas.
That's true.
Bit of a dumb plan.
But then, like, so, Caleb sort of, like, goads him and goes and says all these things about Chelsea. Do you know what? I was literally half expecting him at one point to say that Chelsea had something really to do with Jordan's death. That seemed to be where it was heading for me. I was kind of like... He was going to drop some massive bombshell that Chelsea isn't as innocent as we didn't think she was.
That's what I was going to ask you, because Chelsea this week made quite a point that she was still very much manipulating her family. So she and the whole story for me seemed to be this week that Lucas and Denise were somehow trying to make her repent her sins and see that what she was doing was wrong, and that if she just let them into her life, they can sort out the problem for her, and then she can be forgiven, and then she can be a long-term character on EastEnders again. And every time they seem to do that, like you just saw a scene of Chelsea kind of wiping a tear away and then, you know, scowling at, you know, as Lucas walked off to the toilet, or when she started praying in the church, and you could kind of see her like almost with one eye open looking around to see, well, is he believing this now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if I was Chelsea, honest to God, I mean, I'm an atheist, and clearly Chelsea is too. Yeah, Lucas's main kind of aim this week seems to be to get Chelsea to pray and get her to repent her sins, because he seems to believe that Chelsea's only way to redemption and survival is to get God on her side, pray for forgiveness. But then by the end of the week, he's got it into his head that the only real way for Chelsea to have any chance of becoming a decent human being is to go to prison.
Yeah, that's exactly it. He says it to the pastor, doesn't he? He says, you know, she's got to go to prison, and that's the only way she'll get redemption, and everything will be happy, and everything will align, and everyone will be happy again. Because I suppose he's been in prison, and he sorted himself out in prison. So he's
great now. He's totally sound of mind.
Absolutely,
now.
Absolutely.
This guy's been allowed to walk the streets. I don't understand.
Well, even the caseworker this week visited him on the square after, a month ago, saying, don't go near the square.
Yeah.
Oh, I see you did go near the square. Well, that's fine.
I see you got the square. How's life on the square then, Lucas? Lucas is like, great, you know what? The biscuits here are amazing.
They did look pretty damn good. He was offering them straight away, wasn't he? He was like that.
I've got news. Yeah, well, I've got biscuits.
Yeah.
So
I've chunked you.
the real winner here.
Jammy Dodgers, no less. Would you like one?
It made me laugh so much, that line. I don't know why. It's the banality of it. Yeah, I mean, that's it, really, isn't it?
That's it,
where the hell do we go from here?
Well, hopefully finishing this blooming drug deal that seems to have taken them months to organise. I mean, who is in Ibiza right now waiting for these drugs to come? Are they like completely dried up? Are they getting drugs from another source? I just don't get it.
There's a guy just waiting at the airport, sort of tapping his fingers on the table with like his 7th Costa coffee. Is she coming or what?
No, he's literally a skeleton. He's just a skeleton sat at the table, waiting for these drugs to come. It's nuts. I mean, they're putting so much emphasis. Would a drug dealer, would Kevin Calib, the general, the drug dealer, would he ever have put so much time and effort and resources into this one drug deal in order for Chelsea to be forgiven and then never be tied up with him ever again? I don't think he would. No. He would have just, the gangster way, shot them all, and that would have been the end of it.
Yeah. But then we are being led to believe that Chelsea apparently really likes this lifestyle.
Well, this is it, isn't it? So is she going to come out
to be honest, I'm sort of leaning towards Calib's side of events, to be honest, because Chelsea hasn't really sort of given me any impression that she's actually wanting any of this to stop.
That's what I was saying earlier. I think
she's been given options.
Yeah.
She's been given options to make this easier for herself. She could have rang the police. She could have done anything. I feel like she's had enough time since this story has been going on in the year 2006 or whenever it started.
I was 12 when this story started.
Yeah,
I'm now 37.
I hadn't hit puberty when this story started. It just is altogether now. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Let's just get on with it. I'd be quite happy for EastEnders to just be on the air every single night for this story to finish soon.
Yeah, same.
And it's such a shame because none of the actors' faults involved. All the actors in this story are great. You know,
they're the ones who are helping it carry on. They're the only reason.
And even Caleb's very pretty to look at.
Yeah, but they are the only reason. All the actors who are involved in this story are all excellent actors and deserve so much better. And they're the only reason why this story is just about surviving. I think if it had been done by any lesser an actor from the soap, I don't think... I genuinely wouldn't even put it part of the show. I'd be like, we're not talking about that on the show. And trust me, I've come very close to doing it on the podcast, saying we're not talking about this story this week because nothing has changed.
I had to sit Alex down and be like, we have to talk about it, Alex. We have to talk about it. Just get yourself a coffee. I'll handle it.
I don't. Some of the things you were telling me this happened in the story this week, I wasn't even aware had happened. I just kind of I let it flow by me, which is such a shame. It could have been something good. It could have been something good.
It is frustrating.
It's one time where I wish that... I know I bitch and moan about the fact that stories are finished so quickly in EastEnders at the moment, and this doesn't seem to be any consequence or aftermath. Why have they chosen this as the story to kind of drag out the way that they have? I really thought when they said they were bringing back Lucas, it was a 2-week done deal. I really did. And when they said that Chelsea was coming too, I thought, this is the reason why they're doing it. They're introducing Chelsea as a character. Fine, that's fine. I'm happy for them to do that. A really over-the-top story. I would have had him kill again, even though I'm
I think
a bit
that still
sick of
might
that
happen.
happening.
It probably will still happen, to be honest. I think ultimately Caleb's going to end up getting killed by Lucas. The way it's going to end, I think, is that Lucas is in this ultra moment of redemption. See Caleb attacking Chelsea or something, and he's going to kill Caleb and then get sent back to prison. And Chelsea's going to say, "Oh my God, my dad saved my life. I must be a good girl from here on in," and then stay on the square with Denise. That's what's going to happen.
I still think that they're going down the path that Lucas is going to take the drug hit from Chelsea. Something's going to happen where Chelsea almost gets in trouble with the police. Lucas steps in and says, it wasn't Chelsea at all, it was me. And if you arrest me, I can give you more information about the general. And then that'll be the end of the story. That's how I think it will end. Lovely story coming up now, which is Honey, Billy, and Janet the model. There was a talent scout walking through Walford, going through the market, looking for talent. She spotted one here, spotted one there. Then she comes to Billy's tat shop, and there she is, wearing a flat cap. Beautiful Janet, ready for a commercial shoot.
She looked amazing.
She
Janet
did.
in a flat cap, yes. Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
All day long. I love Janet anyway. We know we endorse Janet 100%. DJ Janet, bring her on. I mean, I love Janet so much. She's such a wonderful actress.
And she had so much sass this week as well, didn't she?
Oh, she
was
really
like,
did.
Of course I'm ready for this audition. You know what? Because she's seen her brother do it. She's like, do you know what? Your career failed.
Yeah.
Your career as a model was rubbish. I'm going to do this properly. Janet was ready. And do you know what she probably did? She did this audition and probably went out to the bar with all her new model friends and sort of like had a great time. Got brought home by the police like all models should. Go on, Janet.
Yeah, after a crazy night out. Yeah,
Yes,
it wasn't that Billy and Jay had forgot to pick her up from the audition.
No.
No.
Janet went clubbing. Janet went clubbing.
Yeah, dirty stop out Janet. She was there.
Queen.
Fantastic. I mean, I'm on board with that story. And
I love it.
Actually, I kind of thought it was a very clever way of bringing Jay and Billy together because they were both having the responsibility of who could look after Janet better, who was more, who was caring for Honey, because Honey fell off a ladder as well this week.
Right, so what do I hate, Alex? What do I hate? What do I hate more than anything else?
Accidents that could cause pain or death.
Yeah, but do you know what the really annoying thing was? The really worst thing about it? Not only did we get an accident that resulted in a random in someone just being randomly unconscious on the floor. My absolute pet hate. Hate it. The best thing about the whole thing was Honey spent the rest of the week complaining that her back hurt. So why was she unconscious?
Maybe that's where her brain is. Who knows?
Honest to God.
I thought...
Apart from that, I enjoy. Apart from that thing that made me want to chuck a plate at the TV, this story was great. I liked this story this week.
Yeah. It was. I think it was more of a template to get Jay and Billy somehow together for a scene, so they could kind of fight out their differences, see what their similarities are, and that ultimately they both do care for Janet, and they both do care for Will and Honey, and they want to look after the family, and that their differences can be put to one side for the greater good. Because they both agree after Suki quite cruelly says that Honey can't have any time off despite having a back injury.
On the phone, not in person. That's not acceptable, by the way.
Yes, tut Suki. We want you on screen. That's the only reason we're saying that.
None of your holidays, thank you.
Yeah, no. Yeah, so...
No time off for Suki, please.
So Jay and Billy have compromised and decided that they're both going to help work at the Suki Mart in lieu of Honey for the time being while Honey recovers. But from a back injury, it takes time for a back injury.
I like the fact that they just assume Suki's going to take them on.
I know. But she said she would take on a temp. And what better temp is there than Billy?
Two temps in one.
Yeah.
It's fun though this week. I like the sort of jousting between Billy and Jay. It got a bit silly in places, but it was all right. You know what I mean? It was allowed in this sort of story. I think it's just these two. I think Jay came out on top more easily than anything else.
But he was quite easily led down the path this week by Billy. For the last few encounters that Billy and Jay have had, Jay has kept his cool pretty well, and Billy's just lost it every time. And you kind of thought, Jay's the adult in this situation.
We say he's the adult in this situation. Apparently, when Jay sends a text message, it's all in cartoons.
Yeah, all in emojis.
What? Just sends pictures of Batman or something.
Like, point emoji, eye emoji, to go emoji, building emoji, 9 emoji. Oh, yeah, pick up Janet at 9 o'clock.
Oh, pick up Janet at 9 o'clock. Yes, got you.
Honestly,
Billy.
Come on, Billy, decipher it. How dare you? Jay took the bait quite badly this week, and there was some really petty arguments. Like Jay decided to buy all the donuts from the cafe so Billy couldn't buy any for the social worker, because we mustn't forget the social worker visited this week as well because of Janet's
Janet's
party.
mad night out.
Yeah. I mean, what's going to happen with Janet's modelling then? Because she's the third member of that family
Alex,
who's a model.
that's what's going to happen.
Do you think?
Success, that's what's going to happen. Yeah, absolutely.
Honey was a bit worried about
more Janet.
Honey was a bit worried about it, wasn't she? And Vinny,
of course she is, because she knows modelling and she knows what the industry can be like. But Janet's going to rock it.
She is going to storm it, isn't she?
Are you ready, Alex, for a game?
Yes.
We're going to the market because this is 2 clues for the price of 1. Now, Alex, I am exposed because
keep it to yourself.
I've had an email from Mitch Hamer, who has sent us a game before, and he says that he's a big fan of a little game show on BBC Two called House of Games.
Oh, I've heard that name dropped in before. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's a show I'm a big fan of, basically, and he's kind of cottoned on to the fact that I might have nicked a few rounds from it. So he's sent me this game, which originally on House of Games is called 2 Clues in 1, but I need to give it some sort of EastEnders theme, so we're on the market. It's 2 clues for the price of 1.
Lovely.
And basically, Alex, what's going to happen in this game is I'm going to give you a clue to an EastEnders character. Now, the clue has the same initials as the character.
God, okay.
Okay. No. So, for an example, I've got you an example here even. If I was to say to you, precious earrings, which character from the past or present do you reckon that could be? Precious earrings. P.E. Who could it be?
Pat Evans.
Yes, precious earrings, Pat Evans, P.E., precious earrings. Okay, you get the idea. That's the game. All right?
Perfect.
We could do this. Let's see if you can get all 10. I expect at least 9.
You can expect all you like. Carry on.
Tell me about it. Right, so, incessant businessman.
Ian Beale.
Correct. Well done. Killing pests.
Oh, Karit Palliser.
Correct. Well done.
Sexy man.
Yes. Bean multiple.
Bean multiple.
Yeah.
Ben Mitchell.
Correct. Well done.
Bean multiple?
Yeah, it's in played by multiple actors.
Oh, Bean played... Oh, okay. I thought you meant Bean as a baked bean.
You absolute silly. Number 4. Jovial sausages.
Gene Slater.
Correct. Number 5. Death faked. Death faked.
Denise Fox.
Correct. Well done. Number 6. Habitual malapropisms. Habitual malapropisms.
Are these all current characters? You said maybe not.
This is, yes.
This is. Oh, this is. Honey Mitchell.
Correct. Well done. So you got it. I liked that one. That's one of my favourite ones that Mitch sent me. Habitual malapropisms. Honey
That's
Mitchell.
Too clever for me.
I thought so. That's why it's there. Number 7. Follows lips. Follows lips. Dead air. It's great, Alex.
Sorry, I'm thinking. Follows lips.
FL.
Yeah.
Follows lips. Think of the clue as well. The clue itself is.
Sorry. I am. Follows lips. Lips.
Give up on this one?
I keep thinking of fee, but I don't know why.
Can I tell you?
Yeah, go on.
Alright, you're going to kick yourself. Frankie Lewis. Follows lips. Reads rips. Reads lips. Frankie Lewis. 2 more. Number 9. Ruthless solicitor. Ruthless solicitor.
Oh, Richie Scott.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
And your final one. Died immediately, someone thought. Died immediately, someone thought.
Wait, it's DI?
Mm-hmm.
Is it DI as in a police officer?
It is, yeah, you got the first bit right.
If it's D.I. Gaffney, I don't know what his real name is. I just know him as D.I. Gaffney.
I'll give you that. It is D.I. Gaffney. Detective Inspector Stuart Thompson. Steve Thompson. Steve Thompson. Because the original clue that Mitch sent me for that was died immediately, Stuart thought. And I thought, that's way too easy. Can't have that.
Yes.
So I changed it to died immediately, someone thought, Detective Inspector Steve Thompson.
Oh, I like that.
Keeping score?
Yeah, I did. I got 9, which you said I could
You
have.
did get 9.
Yes.
Well done. Round of applause for Alex. Please insert applause sound here.
Lovely.
So well done, Alex. That was very good. Please feel free to email us game ideas. You can message Alex at alexwalfordweekly@gmail.com or me at robwalfordweekly@gmail.com. Keep them coming in. We love the games.
Right, so we are now having a little chat about the love triangle. The love triangle of Ash, Sookie and Peter. Peter got his top off again this week, his one character trait, as I repeatedly say every time I say it.
Mama.
Ash was very disappointed, and she told Kim that, you know, she thought she was on for a promise, and then as soon as her mum came in, Peter suddenly shriveled up and ran. And Peter went to Sookie and said, you know, you're not going to say anything to Ash, are you? And Sookie was like, nah, of course I'm not.
No, would I? Would I?
So I am loving this love triangle between the three of them. I think it's great fun.
I mean, basically we had it confirmed because I think we were a little bit unclear as to how Ash actually felt about Peter, weren't we, initially? Like, we sort of thought it was going to be that she fancied him, but we weren't 100% sure. But it was confirmed this week that Ash was quite ready to sleep with Peter this week.
Yes.
Until Sookie arrived home. So it turns out that Ash likes him.
Yeah.
And Peter likes her back. So there's that going on, but then there's also the spectre of Sookie Panesar hanging over the pair of them, and it's brilliant.
Yes, I mean, Peter just can't rest easy every time Sookie is in the facility. He can feel Sookie's...
In the facility. It's when Sookie is in the facility, she can...
What have I said?
You mean in the vicinity?
Vicinity? Oh, did I say facility? Oh,
vicinity.
God. It's always on the Sookie story. Vicinity. Right, I'm recording this again.
Keeping that in. No, that's staying in.
Fine,
Yeah, okay.
I'm going to keep it in. So every time Sookie's in the vicinity, Peter Peter has his back up. He feels like he knows that she's there all the time and just can't relax around Ash whenever he knows that she's about.
So what is Sookie's plan here? I mean, she basically... I don't think she particularly fancies Peter or anything. I think she just wants to ruin Ash's life, really, isn't it? I think that seems to be her main motive.
Do you think that? I think she's actually wants to... She's almost trying to get Ash back into the family again. I think I said this a few times before, but I feel like Sookie has no... I think she feels like she's protecting Ash from Peter. She doesn't think that Peter is good enough for her daughter. Because she did say a few weeks ago that she was a bit disappointed that Ash wasn't like as disappointed as she felt that she could potentially lose her job at the hands of Peter. And I don't know. I think that Sookie is using this hold against Peter because she is trying to protect Ash from him.
That would be a really nice little twist on it. If all of this is going to be a punishment for Peter because he made Ash lose her job, that would be nice. I'd like that. I would like that. Which means probably we're not getting that.
I don't know, because I think that Sookie... I wonder also if Sookie does like Peter and there is a jealousy thing there. It's really quite a confusing story, and that's why I quite like it, because there's so many facets that this could go down, and all of them I don't particularly mind. The only one I do mind is if Peter and Ash do get together.
No, we don't want that.
We don't
Boring.
want that to happen. Exactly. I want this kind of this destroyed relationship, because you know, it's not like Sookie... How far will Sookie let Peter and Ash go before Sookie says anything? Is this going to be next week Sookie's going to come out with the revelation, or is it going to be a few months down the line when they're getting a bit more serious?
It's going to be more twisted than that, isn't it? Like, Sookie's not the sort to just sort of like go, oh, by the way, you know, I think her plan is to string Peter along, keep him on a tether. Not sure whether she's ever going to say anything. Maybe she might even make him sleep with her again. Something, you know, just sort of keeping Peter constantly kind of scared as to what Sookie's going to say whilst he's trying to pursue her daughter. And just make him suffer for it. Yes, Sookie.
Well, that's it. I know. I mean, that's what I mean. I don't mind Sookie making Peter suffer, to be honest with you.
Please do.
I'm completely on board for a bit of Peter suffering.
Team Sookie.
And he had a really horrible moment this week also. When Ash went to visit Peter at his house, he kind of just made quite a nasty throwaway comment about Bobby, which I saw Ash notably look a bit like, oh, that's a bit nasty. Obviously, she doesn't know the whole ins and outs of the family history between them. And then Ash sat down with Bobby because Bobby overheard him make that comment. Yeah. And I thought that was a great moment too, like where Ash kind of talked Bobby, saying that, you know, he needs to be more confident. He needs to be less fearful of his disregard from the family and just be more of himself. and feel less vulnerable around Peter when Peter's showing this kind of sign that he doesn't want to be wanted. He's not wanted around him.
Yeah.
That pep talk by Ash convinced Bobby to decide to jump on board the dating app boat and set up a profile.
Dating app boat.
I don't know.
So I mean, for a start, I got a date very quickly. Why isn't it this easy for me? Bobby's like, right, maybe I should go on an app. Instantly gets a date. That's not how it works. Trust me. I'm doing it wrong, clearly.
Well, clearly.
I'm not using my real name for a start. Maybe that's where I'm going wrong.
That's your biggest mistake.
Yeah. So yeah, Bobby gets a date with. I want to say I liked this girl.
Yeah, same.
I want her back. I really liked her, and actually, she seemed quite suited for Bobby in the couple of scenes that we saw her. I really liked her. I want to see her back, and I think that she'd be a really good match for Bobby. And also, saw in the credits the actress's name, Libby Fox.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't spot that.
Amazed when I saw that. I thought, yeah, that's brilliant. So yeah, we want her back. So basically, Bobby is adorably awkward at this date, isn't he?
I wouldn't go as far as adorable.
I thought it was adorable. I love Bobby.
Very uncomfortable and cringy.
Oh, I didn't think it was that cringy. It was cringy, but I thought it was endearingly cringy.
Yeah, the girls saw it endearing.
Yeah, she didn't try and climb out the bathroom window like Bobby.
Which he
kind
suggested.
Of like, don't climb out the bathroom window, and then kind of cringed. And yeah, but it doesn't go well, basically, because partly to blame is Vinny. Because Vinny, for some weird reason, is stood there on the side, like, watching this date go on in Ruby's, and sort of cringing along with the audience. And then when Jade goes to the loo, goes and sits with Bobby and goes, by the way, you're never going to guess what happened. And starts telling her all about the Lucas and Karen stuff that had happened, this big confrontation that happened because Lucas is a murderer, which he seemed to think would put Bobby's mind at rest instantly without thinking, oh, maybe that's what you're worried about, the whole fact that you murdered your sister.
I suppose Vinny wasn't to know necessarily about Bobby's past. I mean, Ash doesn't know either, does she? So, they weren't to know that, that
No,
wasn't...
he does know, though, because he started talking and he kind of caught Bobby's expression and went, oh, not that no offence, mate. No, it's all good. It's all good. So clearly he does know about it, which again puts on the whole kind of question as to how Karen had no idea who Lucas was, if even the Panasars know what happened with Bobby.
I thought that Vinny was trying to be comforting, actually. I thought he was trying to tell this story to kind of loosen Bobby off.
Maybe.
To
loosen him off. What is wrong with you?
I don't know. To loosen Bobby up a little bit and make him feel a bit better and a little bit less tense about this date he's having. But it didn't work, did it? He ran out.
At all.
He climbed out the window, the metaphorical window.
He did climb out the window, yeah. It was a shame. But then he goes back to the house and Kathy's kind of like, oh, that's a shame, she wasn't your type or whatever. Well, yes, she was. Bring Jade back.
Fortunate comment by Kathy. And I'm surprised the writers didn't spot that she said, go knock her out. It's like, no, Kathy.
And then Kathy's sort of like, I think the expression that I got from Kathy was that she thought she was doing excellent grandmaing.
Yeah.
Because she was kind of like, oh, just be yourself. And then walks away with this content little smile on her face. I'm great at this. I sort my family out.
Now, where's my other son, Ian?
Where's my other son? I'll sort him out. And then leaves Bobby alone in the kitchen. And we see that Bobby is creating a fake profile for himself called Robert Hill, was it?
Robert Hill's is...
I actually got a picture of the profile that he'd written for himself, because I was kind of I like doing that occasionally when there's a massive load of writing.
Yeah,
I like to see actually what's been filled into that gap.
This is Robert Hill's
dating profile on the Phoenix dating app. Robert Hills, male, 20 years old, from London. About me, been there, done that, got the tight t-shirt. I take care after myself. Genuinely what it says. I take care after myself. And can take care of you too, ...
I think I wrote
London lad. Yeah, you probably did. You said it anyway. London lad who's well-travelled. Got many fingers in different pies. You did write this. To know more, slide into my DMs. Like music, going out, seeing places, hanging with mates, having fun, want girl with similar interests.
What, hanging out with mates?
No, just hanging with mates.
Oh, hanging with mates.
I like a day at the gallows.
Wow.
That was the thing. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. Bobby came up with that all by himself.
Well, no, I helped. That was a very much an Alex written piece of
Absolutely.
text.
But the other thing, if they think they're getting away with this without me bringing it up, they're very much mistaken. He decides to put these sunglasses on, Alex, and then what happens? They've done this for so long. I thought they'd knock this on the head. They put the Bobby puts these sunglasses on, and for no reason whatsoever, this gangster music starts playing over the top of the scene. And I was sat there watching this thinking, please cut to the club now. Please make the reason this music is playing because you're about to cut to the club. That's the only thing that will make this acceptable. And they didn't cut to the club, Alex. They were just putting it over the scene.
But they literally cut the music as soon as the scene had ended. So there was no kind of overlay either. I know.
I'm a gangster. Yeah. Robert Hill's gangster. 20 years old gangster.
It looked like a cover for Grand Theft Auto 5, I thought. The way he put those tinted sunglasses on and the sun was coming through the window and it reflected.
I don't know where this is going. And the fact that they've stuck gangster music over it concerns me greatly.
Do you think that was us seeing inside? Because they're not subtle necessarily. Do you think that was us meant to be seeing what Bobby was feeling? Thinking about himself, what he believes Robert Hills is. That's it.
Because Bobby isn't 20 either, is he? Like, he is.
He's younger
15,
than that,
16? Shouldn't be in a nightclub having a date, put it like that.
Isn't Bobby 17?
Yes, he is. I've just checked it on Google. He's 17 years old. Good. So he's stuck 3 years on his age. So yeah, where is this going? Gangster Bobby. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think you might be right. I think that the little clip of music was supposed to almost be a characterization of Robert Tills, and they can stop that right now. If they would, that'd be great. Thanks, we get it. All right, Bobby thinks he's a gangster because of the idea of him putting sunglasses on and sort of rocking his head to this imaginary music in his mind. All right, we get it. Don't do that again, please.
Kathy should be flattered because he's used her maiden name, Hills. I thought that was a nice touch.
Oh.
Yeah, so yes, what more was there to say?
Nothing, that's it.
Okay.
Next.
Right, so the very final story this week is that Bailey wants to go to space camp. She wants to rocket to the moon. And she's I don't know why I said that. And she...
One more story. That's all we'd have to get through, Alex. Just one more story.
Okay. Right. For goodness sake.
Crying.
Yeah, same. Oh my god. Oh my god.
All I've got now is image of Bailey in one of those little fairy washing up liquid bottles just peering out over the top as it's being sent to
like
space.
Button Moon.
Yeah.
But Bailey made a kind of like a model like Button Moon because she made a solar system, didn't she?
She did.
She pulled an all-nighter. She pulled an all-nighter with Mitch and Karen.
Yeah, and this is actually what I was going to say, and was relating back hours ago to when we were talking about Karen and how she was a great character this week, because I absolutely loved how Karen was really upset about the date and how badly it had gone, having everything raked up about Chantel for no reason, and then Bailey comes in and basically gives Karen that classic mum dilemma. We've all done it to our mums at some point when we were at school. Oh, I need this project done by tomorrow morning. And you say it at like 9 o'clock at night or something. Or I need a costume for tomorrow morning. And so the mum has to, stay up all night and get it done. And that is why I love Karen so much. And why I would fight the argument that Karen is the best mum Walford has ever seen. Genuinely, I believe that. Because I think that she is just so brilliant, and the way that she just kind of chucked all her emotions aside, right, we've got a solar system to make, and you knew full well that she was going to stay up all night and that this solar system would be ready and that it would be brilliant because Karen would have put her all into it. I love that side of Karen so much.
Yeah, it was a fantastic model.
It was a great model, and it got Bailey through to the next round.
Well, that's it.
Space camp.
So what is this? It's not a school thing, is it? It's a competition that's done into like with other schools. I couldn't really get my head around it because I know Isaac was the one who mentioned it to her, showing his nice softer side. Again, I think they're kind of integrating Isaac into a few more stories now this big revelation has happened, so he can get like a bit more involved with the kids. He seems to care as well now that this secret is out, at least with Lola. He seems to care now about his job again. He seems to be more invested in like looking after the kids, and now Bailey's into the next round to win this prize of going to space camp. But then she got this devastating news. Bailey cannot have a moment where she is happy for more than 5 seconds, can she?
Neither can we, apparently.
No.
They're killing off Bronson. Bronson the dog has been vomiting and threw upon Bailey's asteroid belt, which was sad for a start. And then Bernie comes down the stairs into the square looking all bereft because Bronson is dying in the middle of the living room floor. Now, when was the last time we saw Bronson?
I mean, he's always there, isn't he?
But we haven't really. No, I know, but we haven't really seen this dog for ages, have we? I want to know why That's not entertainment. Why do I want to see a dying dog on the floor?
I know,
it's really sad.
Yeah.
I don't need to see this. It makes me... I hate... And do you know what? They kept doing all these little things, like Bernie saying, like, no, we've only got, like, another weekend with him. And then they'd insert, like, a dog whine after she said it, as if he was reacting to everything she was saying. I don't like that sort of thing. It makes me sad.
I know, it was really horrible. Poor old Bronson. They seem to put more attention... I don't think we can hide around the fact that they seem to put more attention into Bronson's death than they have done anything with Chantel's death. Do you not think? It seems to be.
I mean, let's see where let's see. We've got a couple of weekends left with Bronson.
Okay.
So let's see. We'll work out the ratio of Bronson grieving over Chantel grieving once Bronson's died. Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
We'll see what scene dedication we get from that. Make a note.
That seems only fair. I mean, if Bronson should get a funeral, then I
expect Johnson to get a Julius theme at the very least.
Yeah, but do you know, if he gets a funeral, he's already had more than what Chantel got.
Yeah.
Who would turn up to Bronson's funeral? Dave the cat? Lady Di?
I would. Lady Di.
All the pets on EastEnders are like the pets on Blue Peter. They're like our pets. They're part of our family too.
Exactly.
And so when we don't know what's going on with them, I mean, where is our George the Tortoise on on EastEnders? You know what I mean?
Tortoise. Never understood that at all. It's like some people say tortoise and some people say tortoise. It's like migraine and migraine. I don't understand.
Oh, is it migraine or migraine?
Migraine.
Oh, I say migraine, yeah.
Yeah, but you say tortoise.
Yeah, because it's spelled Toise. Toise.
Yeah, knee is spelled K-N-E. You don't say knee or
but the K is silent.
Yeah, so is some of the... Anyway, tortoise. Yeah, so Bronson the dog is dying, so we've got 2 weekends left with Bronson, so that's going to be nice, cheery viewing, isn't it? Just watching this dog slowly die over the course of the next week or so.
Yeah,
It'll be really sad.
It is going to be really sad, but to be fair, it's probably the most gripping story on the soap so far.
It feels... No, don't be mean. No, it's not. It feels unnecessarily depressing.
But that's EastEnders. No, you're right. It is a bit sad. But like I say, for me, it just feels like, what is it upstaging the Chantel story? That's
well, we'll see. We will see, won't we?
Yeah.
We will see. It seems that Bronson's going to have a kinder death than Chantel had anyway, so we'll see. So to end this week's podcast, we will turn to our lovely listeners in I Ain't Want to Gossip.
You know me, I ain't want to gossip.
We have had quite a lot of replies this week, all for Alex on YouTube, about the little gangster discussion we were having last week.
Yes.
Over to you, Alex.
Well, if you guys didn't listen to it, it was on last week's episode. We wanted you guys to get in touch with us about what you thought about the gangster stories, and you did. So, first of all, Sarah on YouTube says, to be honest, I just think the gangster stuff is really boring. I don't mind a subtle gangster storyline in the background like it used to be in the 80s and the 90s, but when it's like this, I mostly skip over it. To be honest, that's why, and I know this is a controversial opinion, I don't really like the Panissars. From the beginning, they've always been about some kind of scheme, trying to cheat people and take money off of them, and I just don't enjoy watching that kind of stuff. Now, funnily enough, Sarah, the Panissars are the one thing I do like about...
Wonder why?
Yeah, well, no, not just that. I mean, you know my deep love for the character of Suki. Colette,
yes.
I love Colette too, for different reasons, and I quite like the character of Vinny too, and I like Ash. So the family, for me, are quite good. They need a little bit more building up, but yeah, their introduction was fine. I mean, I didn't like their rat trap story, and they seem to have gone a bit quiet and changed it into a call centre that we don't really know what they're trying to sell.
No idea.
But the fact that they're trying to kind of build up this reputation in Walford is the one thing I actually find believable and I'm enjoying about the gangster inverted commas story, for me anyway.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I love the Panissars and I love what they've brought to the square. I think they've been a real... It's one of they're one of those families that actually is starting to have an impact on the square, which is always a good sign. You know, when a family unit comes in and they're actually there for a reason and we can see the reason and they're actually integral in moving some of the stories around rather than just being introduced for no reason, like say the Murrays or something like that. I was quite prepared to have disagreements thrown my way about the discussion because I know that there is a lot of complaint at the moment that there is quite a heavy reliance on gangster stuff and stuff that's not really that innovative. So in terms of the gangstery stuff. So no, I get that completely. It's I think it's like I said last week. For me, I don't mind it. It's not as offensive to me as it is to you and clearly some other people. I don't mind it. Maybe I'll reach a point where I'm like, do you know what, Alex? I'm sick of gangsters, and then you'll love that day. But I'm just not there yet.
I just think they need to reinvigorate the Mitchells somehow, rather than just doing the same old, perhaps. I mean, like I say, I've got no problem with it. And a lot of people on YouTube actually said that they're kind of, they don't hate the gangster stuff, but they hate the amount of gangster stuff that is happening at the moment on EastEnders.
Right.
And I must say, that's where I am pretty much, in the kind of opinion. I don't hate the gangster stuff. I just think there's too much of it right now. And it feels a bit boring now, and it's kind of lost any kind of shock value that was almost attached to any of the gangster stuff. I get that London has a kind of underground scene. A lot of cities do. A lot of around the world have a gangster underground around, but I don't know.
So Katie Phipps has said, I did enjoy the Karen and Lucas stuff. The raw grief she's dealing with really came to light as soon as she realised who he was and what he'd done. I can't wait till she knows about Gray. Those scenes will be epic. That's very true. When that'll happen, though, God only knows.
Yeah.
The Honey J. Billy stuff was okay, but my Queen Janet served as ever. Just love her and need more of her, and yeah, we totally agree with wanting more Janet. She is amazing. Bobby, what a sweetheart. Clay plays him to perfection. Agreed. Slightly awkward and nerdy and so full of regret. I wonder when he'll start to forgive himself for Lucy. He deserves to move on. He was only a child and it was an accident. He's no Lucas or Gray, but it's like in his mind there's no difference. Loved the name change, but confused by the sunglasses and music bit. You and me both, Katie. You and me both. That's right, I nearly called you Kate there and then sort of looked at the end. It's Katie. You and me both, Katie. Yeah, no, I will praise Clay Milner Russell right to the end. I think he is one of the strongest new actors EastEnders have had for years. I adore him. And Bobby's characterisation these days, I love. Bobby is like top tier character for me at the moment. I absolutely adore him.
Which is why I'm getting a bit worried about what's going on with Bobby, because they seem to be... they just seem to be going... They seem to be taking him down that kind of, what should we call it, the Lucas path of lunacy, and I'm worried that's happening.
I don't know. I think that Bobby, it's like, I think Katie's nailed it pretty well. I think he's trying to move on from his life, and I think he's got really bad self-confidence issues because of what's happened. So I think that he just I can understand why he thinks that building a fake profile for himself is the way forward. Because I think the whole point of the whole Vinny scene was the fact that he saw, to be told that someone like Lucas, who is a murderer, cannot live a normal dating life. That, I think, was supposed to be the idea of that scene. So, which is why he's now started building this fake persona for himself, complete with gangster music.
Which we all love.
Loved it.
Anything
else, Alex?
Well, I was going to just mention one other thing. I won't say their name as they've asked me not to mention it on the podcast, but I would just like to say thank you to the messenger, the message that was sent to us on Instagram this week, just to say that they've been catching up on all our episodes and they've been really enjoying them whilst this pandemic has been going down. It was lovely to hear from you, and I hope you stay safe and well. If any of you guys want to get in touch with us, Rob has the details.
Contact us on Twitter and Instagram at Walford Weekly. Find us on Facebook at Walford Weekly Podcast. On YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell to get notifications about our spoiler videos and for Ben's Roundup of the Week. You can listen to us on Apple, Podbean, Spotify, or any of your favourite podcast sites. I have an email address, robwalfordweekly@gmail.com or alexwalfordweekly@gmail.com. Please get in touch with us. We're all in this together. We'll be back next week. Until then, see you later.
See ya.
Rocket Man!
Rocket Bailey.